All right. So here we're given two demand curves. They share a point, right? So they're both downward sloping. One of them is a curve, the other is a line. They share a point there at A. No other points lie on both curves. What is the price elasticity of demand at point A on demand curve D2? So on this demand curve, what is the price elasticity of demand at this point? And we should use the point slope formula. Do you remember what that formula was? No?
M
is in it, yeah.
And then X minus X1.
It's okay, so you need to revise for the final. So the point elasticity is 1 divided by slope times P over Q. Right, so at point A, right, we need to find the price elasticity of the second demand curve, right, D2. So what's the price elasticity of D2 at point A? So at that point, what is P? What is the price? At point A, 12. What is the quantity? 4. What is the slope at point A? Sorry? So the slope, now this is a curve, right? So at any point, so the slope is basically changing. Right, so at any point to find the slope, I need to find the slope of the line that is tangent to the curve at that point. And at point A, which is the only point that those two demand curves share, I know that demand curve 1 is the tangent line to the demand curve 2, right? So basically the slope at A would be the slope of D1, right? And what is that? Well, it's rise over run. This intercept is 20, this is 10. So slope here and the slope everywhere else, right, on that line is negative 20 over 10 or negative 2. Okay? Now I have the point elasticity. This is absolute value, so I can just plug in 2 here. Right? And I have 1 over 2 times 12 over 4 or 1.5. Right? This is 6 over 4, 3 over 2, 1.5. Which is B. So at point A, the price elasticity is 1.5. Alright, so again, the same picture, two demand curves. Using the point slope formula, which of the following orderings of price elasticity of demand is correct? So starting from higher to lower, at which of those points, right, is the price elasticity higher or lower? So first of all, what do we know about the elasticity of demand as we move down the demand curve? What is it doing?
It's going down. It's decreasing.
Right, it's decreasing. Or if you think of this as if you look at the formula itself, what is going on is, well, the slope on the line, right, on D1, let's say the slope is the same, so that doesn't change, but P over Q is going to change in a way that as you move down the line, P is decreasing and Q is increasing, right? This moving that way, P is going down and Q is going up. If this is going down and this is going up, and this is staying the same for every point, the whole ratio is decreasing. Okay? So I know for sure that the points that are on the line are going to have the following ordering. So the price elasticity at D is going to be higher or lower than that at A. Is D higher or lower than A? The price elasticity, is it higher or lower? Higher, right? Because it's decreasing as we move down. So DAC should have the following relationship for sure, right? Now I can look at the answers and pretty much eliminate So those do not follow that relationship for sure. So DAC and DAC, this has the right ordering so far. So it's one of those two. Right? The only thing we need to figure out now is where does B belong? Right? Does it belong before C or after C? So is the point elasticity at B higher or lower than that of C? That's what it comes down to. Right? So I can calculate the elasticity, the point elasticity at C, just like I did here. So at C, well, it's 1 over the slope. Now this is on the line, so the slope is the same. Correct? The slope is still 2. 1 over 2 times, now what is P and Q? Well, P is 4 and Q is 8. So times 4 over 8. Or 1/2 times 1/2, which is 0.25, or 1 over 4. That's my price elasticity at C. Now, can I calculate the price elasticity at B? All right, so what is the slope at B? Well, I don't really know, right? I don't know what, I mean, I can draw the tangent hopefully very correctly and kind of calculate it, but pretty much I'm not sure what the slope is here, but I do know that according to the formula, so the point elasticity at B is going to be 1 over, the absolute value of the slope times P over Q, and I do know P and Q, right? This is 8, and this is 8, so times 8 over 8, so times 1, right? So basically the point elasticity at B is just 1 over the absolute value of the slope at B. So now I know one is 1/4, the other one is 1 over the slope. So basically the only way for B, for the point elasticity at B to be higher than the point elasticity, sorry, let me say this again. The only way for B to be lower than C is if M is higher than 4. Right, do you see that? Because the relationship is which one is higher, 1 over M or 1 over 4? Right? So if M is more than 4, right, this is higher. If M is less than 4, this is higher. So do you think that the slope at B is more or less than 4? And is the question. Right, because we know the slope here is 2, right? And this is the slope is decreasing as we move. You can see that clearly, right? So the slope here must be definitely less than 4, right? If it's less than 4, if this is less than 4, then the B, the point elasticity at B, which is that, must be higher than the point elasticity at C, which is that. So we know that B actually belongs before C. So the ordering would be D, A, B, C. Right now, generally we need to compare A and B as well to make sure that B is not actually over here, right? But that's fine, because that's not part of the answers anyway. So we know that that's not the case. Right? So this would be D. Okay, using the midpoint method, calculate the price elasticity of demand on D1 between prices of 4 and 6. There is a little bit. Alright, so I know the midpoint formula is the change in Q over average Q divided by the change in P over average P. Right? So basically we need to know the 2 Qs and the 2 corresponding prices, and we can calculate the price elasticity of demand. So we are on D1, that's what we're interested in, between prices of 4 and 6. So 4 and 6. So pick one. If P1 is 4, P2 is 6. So if P1 is 4, what is Q1? 8. And when it's 6, it is, what is that? 7. Right, now all we need to do is plug in and solve for the elasticity. So let me do that here. The change in Q, well, it's 1. So we know the price elasticity is also going to be negative, so we can pretty much ignore the negative at this point, right? We know the change in Q is 1. What is the average Q?
Average.
The average.
7.5.
7.5. This whole thing divided by, what's the change in P?
2.
What's the average P?
5.
5, right? So when you divide by a fraction, you can just multiply by the reciprocal, right? So it's 1 over 7.5 times 5 over 2, right? And this is 5 over 15, or 1/3. And that's my price elasticity. 1/3 is 0.33. So this would be 8.